Good morning to one and all watching this video. Today in this video, we will be discussing about evaluation of projects or investment proposals using payback period in practice. When we are solving problems, we come across two situations when cash inflows are unequal and when cash inflows are constant for single projects or multiple projects. Today in this video, I would be discussing about solving problems or calculating payback period for problems that have cash inflows constant. So first, let us see what is the procedure for calculating the payback period for single projects. When the cash inflows are constant, we have two important steps. Step one, first you need to calculate the annual net earnings before depreciation and after tax. These are also called as annual cash inflows. And the second step is you need to divide the initial outlay of the project by the annual cash inflows. So by the formula which we actually use for calculating payback period when the cash inflows are constant is cash outlay of the project or original cost of asset divided by annual cash inflow. Please note that the annual cash inflows should always be earnings before depreciation and after tax. So you should be very careful when the problem specifies depreciation and taxes, ensure that the earnings are before depreciation and after tax. Let me take few simple problems to explain this. So let me take the first problem. The problem goes like this. A project costs rupees 1 lakh and yields an annual cash inflow of 20,000 for 8 years. Calculate its payback period. So if you look into the problem, we can identify that the original cost of the project is given and the annual cash inflows are given. This problem does not have a reference of depreciation or tax. So that means the annual cash inflow given is earnings before depreciation and after tax. Okay, so now let's take the formula. So payback period, because this problem is based on annual cash inflows, the cash inflows are said to be constant. We use the formula payback period is equal to cash outlay of the project or original cost of the asset divided by annual cash inflow. So we require only two things. One is annual cash inflow and the original investment. Both are given in the problem directly. So all we need to do is we only need to substitute the value. So payback period is equal to the annual cash inflow. The annual cash inflow given is 20,000 per annum and the original cost is 1 lakh. So it's going to be 1 lakh divided by 20,000. So 1 lakh divided by 20,000 gives me 5 years. So now always as we are calculating payback period, the answer is always expressed in years. So this means that it takes 5 years. It takes 5 years for the total investment. What is the total investment? Total investment of rupees 1 lakh invested in a project to pay back itself. So we would be, it takes 5 years for 1 lakh to be recovered if at all our annual cash inflows are 20,000. Okay, so this is the first problem. Now moving on to the second problem. The second problem goes like this. The project cost rupees 5 lakh and yields annual profit of rupees 80,000 after depreciation at 12% per annum, but before tax of 50%. calculate the payback period. So in this problem, we understand that the original cost is given and the annual profits are given. But in this problem, we find that annual profits are given after depreciation but before tax. But remember, we require earnings before depreciation and after tax. So we have to go for adjusting the annual profits. So let me take the formula first. So the formula is cash outlay of the project or original cost of the asset divided by annual cash inflow. The original outlay is already given 5 lakhs. So we require original investment as given in the problem, it is 5 lakhs. But we require annual cash inflows. In this problem, the cash inflows are given after adjustments. So that means the cash inflows are given are after depreciation but before tax. But we require annual cash inflows after tax but before depreciation. So we are going to calculate the annual cash inflows after tax but before depreciation. So how do we calculate it? Annual cash inflows are given. In the problem, that is 80,000. Now I need to calculate the depreciation because I need before depreciation, I need to minus the depreciation. So how much depreciation we are getting? But we need depreciation is already deducted. So first let us minus the tax, less tax because we need it after tax. So less tax of how much? Tax is 50%. So 50% is 80,000. 50% of 80,000. So 50% of 80,000 is 40,000. So our profits after tax is 40,000. But what do we require? We require profit after tax, but before depreciation. So we need to add back the depreciation. So depreciation is, the percentage is given, it is 12% of 5 lakhs. So 12% of 5 lakhs would be 60,000. This would be 40 plus 60, it's going to be 1 lakh. So the profits after tax but before depreciation is 1 lakh. So this is what we require. So we have got profit after tax but before depreciation is 1 lakh. The original investment which is given in the problem is 5 lakh. So now we can substitute it. So payback period is equal to original investment is 5 lakhs divided by your annual cash inflow 1 lakh is equal to 5. So the payback period is always expressed in years. So it takes 5 years. So it means that the original investment of rupees 5 lakhs Okay. You will be getting back in 5 years, and annually how much you will be getting back in 1 year, 1 lakh you will be getting. So this is what your payback period is about. Now coming to the next problem, problem 3. A project costs rupees 6 lakh and yields annually a profit of rupees 90,000 after depreciation at 12.5% per annum, but before tax at 50%. Calculate the payback period. So this is more or less a similar problem that similar to the second problem, wherein the original investment is given 6 lakh, but the annual cash inflow is also given, but it is given after depreciation and before tax. So we need to calculate the annual cash inflows after tax but before depreciation. So this problem has a small adjustment for the cash inflows. So first, let us take the formula. So payback period formula is that. So please listen carefully once again. When the cash inflows are constant, we are going to use the formula method to calculate the payback period. The formula to calculate payback period is cash outlay of the project or original cost of the asset divided by the annual cash inflow. So we require two things. But remember, the annual cash inflow should always be after tax but before depreciation. This is very, very important to be noted. In the first problem, there was no depreciation or no mention of tax. So the given cash inflow was after tax but before depreciation. But as this problem has a reference of depreciation and taxes, we have to make the adjustment. So given let me make the font size bigger. Okay. So given original investment, the numerator is given. Original investment is how much? Rupees 6 lakh. Now you require annual cash inflow, and that we require after tax but before depreciation. It's not given, so we are going to calculate. So calculation of annual cash inflows after tax but before depreciation. It's not given, so we are calculating. So we are going to make a small table here. Okay, so we have the working note here. So first, what do we take? We need to take the annual cash inflows. In other words, we take it as profits after depreciation but before tax. So given is 90,000. So from this, I need to, as depreciation is already removed, let us remove the tax. Tax is how much? 50%. So 50% of profits, 90,000. So that amounts to 45,000. 50% of 90,000 is 45,000. So the remaining would be 45,000. So what is this remaining called? This remaining is called as profit after tax. Now I require profit after tax but before depreciation. So I need to add back the depreciation which was already added. So depreciation is 12.5% of how much? The original cost of asset. The original cost of asset is 6 lakh. So it would be 12.5% of 6 lakhs would be 75,000. So when I add back the depreciation, I get back profit after tax, profit after tax, but before depreciation. That would be 45,000 plus 75,000. 5,000. That amounts to 1,20,000. So this is my profit after tax and this is my answer. So I have the original investment here and profit. So this is my numerator and this is my denominator. So now I can calculate it. So payback period is equal to original investment is 6 lakh divided by annual cash inflow is 1,20,000. So again, we have 6 lakh divided by 1,20,000 gives me 5. So I express my years. My payback period is always expressed in years. That means that the investment of 6 lakh pays back itself in 5 years. So annually, how much if you are getting, if you get an annual cash inflow of 1,20,000 every year, the life of the project could be different. But within 5 years, an annually 1,20,000 cash inflow will ensure that you get back your original investment in 5 years. Okay, so this is the calculation of payback period for single projects when cash inflows are constant. In the next video, we will be discussing on how to calculate payback period for problems which have uneven cash inflows. Okay, thank you. Until then, have a nice day.